Hi everyone, welcome back to Novel Nomad, and yes, I've been away for a little bit. I just wanted to kind of explain my very brief hiatus over the last month and a bit, and that's mainly because the bookshop that I worked at for like the last 4 years closed in April, and it kind of hit me harder than I was expecting. I do have a full-time job outside of the bookstore, but it was such a refuge, and it just was surprising how much joy and everything I got from just working there 7 hours a week. And so it was just amazing how I just needed that break. I just needed to step away and regroup and obviously keep reading. When am I not reading? But it just took me a lot of just a time just to recover from that change in my lifestyle and what I was doing every weekend. So even though I've had more time, I felt like it was time for reflection rather than all the creative output I thought I would be doing. But I wanted to get back on here because I am so excited this year to be participating in QueerLit Readathon. This runs from June the 6th to the 12th, obviously celebrating Pride Month, and it's just so exciting. I haven't participated in a QueerLit readathon before. This is round 7, so it's really exciting that they're actually continuing with this. It's so beautiful when you get to participate in readathons and come back and there's the same host, which is Kathy and Rogan, and the guest host this year is Jean. I'll link all of their accounts down below with their announcement videos and TBRs, but I've just been watching and I've signed up for the Instagram account and I'm just so excited. It's really got me excited to read some QueerLit, and I just wanted to get into it. And so today I wanted to go through what I'm planning to read for this year's QueerLit Readathon. So the challenges themselves are kind of like a bingo board. Now, I'm not following the bingo board. I'm not trying to do the entire bingo board. I'm not trying to do a line. I'm just picking ones that just really excited me. And so I thought that would be a better way because I feel like I'm still reflecting on the closure of the beautiful bookstore that I worked at. And I just wanted to kind of just ease myself in to this readathon. So first off, the group read for the readathon this time is Fresh Water by Kwaike Emezi. I did read part of this for another challenge I was reading earlier, I think last year, but I got distracted. So I want to get back to this one. It's actually fabulous reason to finish this one off. So this is really exciting. It's given me a perfect motivation to finish this one off. But let's get into the ones that I've picked especially from my shelf as well, because I'm trying to read books that I have on my shelf. So first off, let's look at vintage. I really liked this idea of reading vintage. Now, it says beyond 20 years ago, and so for that one I thought it would be really great to read something like very early, like queer. I was thinking The Well of Loneliness by Radcliffe Hall, but I've been recommended Maurice by Ian Forster quite a lot, and it's just one that I really want to read. It actually was like a banned book because it's about a man who's struggling with his sexuality at a time when being gay was actually illegal, and so he's really struggling to find his identity and place in the world. And I believe, when was it written? He's wrote a postscript to it in 1960, so he wrote it earlier, and it's set in Cambridge. So I think it's just going to be a really beautiful book where he was able to express his sexuality in his writing, because so many of his books hardly ever feature that at all. So this was a chance for him to actually really express who he was to the world. The next category that I really liked was Memorial by Brian Washington. This one is more of a hard-hitting contemporary in the fact that these two gay men are in a relationship, but they don't quite know why anymore. It's kind of lost that initial drive. And one of the men, I think his name is Mike, he grew up in Japan and his father's dying in Japan. So his mother comes to stay in his apartment with his boyfriend, and he goes back to Japan to farewell his dying father. And so both of them discover that there's a different side to life than they're expecting out of this situation. So I think it'd be quite interesting to see a bit more contemporary, hard-hitting contemporaries. I have read quite a few that cover the AIDS epidemic, especially like during the 80s and mid-90s. So those ones were absolutely heartbreaking. But I wanted to read one more about like a stable relationship, but one that's being questioned. So I think this will be really interesting, and I want to see what it's like. So next is a shorter than novel fiction, and I'm jumping straight into Ji Young's The Descent of Monsters. And this is like an amazing novella series. So this is like book 1 in the series, and I just really want to read it. And the art is done by none other than Yuko Shimizu, who is one of my favorite artists. I just love her works. So it's a fantasy novella series, and I just cannot wait to read some more like snippet fantasies rather than getting into a ginormous like 400-page book. Next are the 3 that I couldn't decide between. These are the ones that spark joy. Not that I've read before, but ones that either I love the cover or just the concept sound really endlessly fascinating. And the first one is Kings, Queens and In-Betweens by Tanya Bataji. This one I actually got when I was in Canada. It was a debut author. She has released another book since, but I just really wanted to try it. So a girl who's struggling with her lesbian identity, she basically and she's like loves her girlfriend, her friend, who's straight, and so she decides to find, she just manages to stumble on this community of queens and kings and a very safe queer space on the other side of town, and she just starts exploring different parts of her identity. So this one has a gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous cover. I really love it. It's very fun, very exciting. So that is definitely on my list. Next is another one that I kept seeing because it had such a beautiful arc design, but that is Me, My Dad and the End of the Rainbow. This is I think middle grade fiction by Benjamin Dean, and it just looks so beautiful, so much fun. And you can just see like all these beautiful, colourful, happy people. And it's just so representative of what Pride is. Pride is a chance to celebrate and recognise the society they have and the safe spaces that they create. And lastly, one that is quite new on my shelf and I'm very keen to read if I manage to get through some of the earlier ones. And that is Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. This is like a really interesting, like, I think it's alternate, or is it just like 1954, set in America during 1954. And the main thing is these 2 girls, they've been struggling with who they are, but then they find each other at a lesbian club. But it's also, one of the girls is Chinese, and Chinese Americans are currently going through like the whole red peril, red scare kind of thing, and so it's actually more dangerous for their ethnicity rather than for their queer identity. So I think this is like a really good intersectional novel, and I just really want to get into it. Also, the cover detail is stunning. I really wanted that beautiful illustration edition as well. Okay, so that is quite a range of different books, but ones that I'm really passionate in reading, and I really want to try and read within the QueerLit Readathon space. So if you're participating, let me know down below. And if you've read Maurice by Ian Forster or The Well of Loneliness by Radcliffe Hall, let me know, because I want to know if there's a similarity between the two. I know Ian Forster wrote his a little bit later, but I think they were both around at the same time. So I think it's quite an interesting exploration of like queer identities in the very early 1900s. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for staying with me on this channel, even though I've had a bit of a unexplained hiatus, and I can't wait to see you next time. Okay, bye.